There is a bell.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
As you hit the bell, one of the employees, kind of who's helping somebody, looks around and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And what you see is looks to be a half-elven woman with thick spectacles, who is currently stepping over to try and stop you. However, the beaded curtain swishes open with the grandiose gesture of one slightly meaty hand, and stepping out in his fine gold-trimmed purple robes, his longish, thick, black coarse hair pulled into a nice ponytail, smoothly shaved face with a slight little hint of a braided goatee that dangles about 3 inches from his chin.
Will you remind me, sorry, DM, because it's been a while. Gilmore's a good-looking man, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's handsome.
Yeah.
Is the braid new? Is that a new addition?
So handsome, Max.
The braid's new. He decided to rock the braid.
He's
Go for it.
Gilmore's a very handsome gentleman.
See you guys now.
I would say he's not like fit and muscular.
Right,
He is a handsome, comfortably jovial gentleman.
I'm picturing Jeremy Irons in a wizard's robe.
Kind of. Imagine him with a little more punch.
Okay.
But very charismatic, and open chest to his vest with a number of gold chains and medallions that kind of dangle around.
I feel you.
It's almost like a wizard's tracksuit.
Ruined it for me, man.
And it's dead.
No.
Please tell me it says like arcane on the butt.
No. No, he's better. He's very well dressed. But his presentation is definitely a presentation. As the hand swishes open, he goes, "I'm sorry, was I being summoned?"
Yes.
He immediately looks at
Yes.
Oh, you've returned.
Gilmore,
Gilmore!
you glorious bastard, how have you been?
He immediately rushes to the edge and kind of like leans over the counter to give you a grandiose hug and actually lifts you off your feet. Much stronger than you anticipated. He goes, "Oh, Vaxalia, it's been far too long." He sets you down next to him behind the counter and gives you a big hug. Strong wizard arms around you. A scent of it's almost like fine herbs with like a hint of patchouli kind of hit your nose.
You naughty man, you just called me by my sister's name. That is going to cost you.
He said, I said Vax! What do you mean? That's ridiculous, preposterous.
Vexalia, can we go to the videotape? Anyone?
Actually,
Instant replay.
actually, Vax, he was correct. He said your name correctly. I believe you owe him a little something.
I think
now.
it was
Don't
actually
you?
a little bit of combination, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I think he called you Vexalia.
Water under the bridge.
Or Vaxalia.
That's what
I
he
think
said.
That's what he called
He's
you.
going to call you Vaxalia, which I
So
call
I
him in my
lean
sleep.
Shut up, you. I lean in.
He looks genuinely like perturbed and embarrassed by the whole circumstance. He's like,
I lean in, I pat him on the hand. Don't you worry. We have come from far and away. You would not believe the shit we have been through.
Really?
But I don't want to talk about me, I want to talk about you. What has been going on in this city since we've been gone?
Well, and he kind of looks about the rest of you and says, "Obviously you've brought the rest of your friends here. Come, sit, story time, story time." Please sit around.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes. How about yourselves? You look like you've, he kind of gives you all look over and look like you've maybe not slept in a fortnight.
Well, we're lucky we're not dead. They came close a
Yes,
couple
they
of
are.
times. We were off on official business for the Emperor. We've been underground for weeks and weeks. We've only seen the sun for a couple of days.
Oh, that kind of a weekend. I know how that goes.
Needless to say, our stores are terribly depleted. We are going to need to stock up a bit before we head out of town again. I don't want to rush things, though. I think my friends probably want to shop about. My sister can probably handle things for me. I would love to take a stroll with you around the city. Get a bit of lunch to bite and hear about what's been happening. Hear the rumors of town. We all know nobody matches your shrewdness in business. That's no surprise. But I'm wondering what you've heard. What's on the wind? Can you take the afternoon off?
He looks over at the same half-elven woman who was trying to stop her earlier, and she kind of gives a look of like, what's he gonna say? Like no one's ever asked him this question. And he goes, "For you? Of course."
Mandate, go for it.
Don't worry, Gilmore. We'll take wonderful care of your employees. Oh, well, if you wish to do business, why not do that now?
We need to shop around first, of course.
Very well, very well.
And we're so curious as any of these interesting and fascinating things that you've developed in the several weeks since it's been that we've been here. We'd love to see what you've been working on.
Very well. Sherry!
And Lucy Mullen goes, kind of her shoulders drop. Yes, Gilmore.
Would you be so kind as to see to whatever our friends need? These are Vox Machina, by the way. They are currently sponsored by Gilmore's Glorious Goods Incorporated, and I would very much like to make sure that they are taken care of.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure that happens. And
So, shall we?
I think this will take a while. Let's. And I
Have
look
a
to my,
wonderful time, brother.
I look to my sister as we go, and just get what I need, will you?
Of course.
Thank you. And stroll out the door with Gilmore. Have at it, ladies and gentlemen.
all
We'll
right.
leave dinner on the stove for you.
In the meantime,
It sounds wonderful.
We've got time. We've got to wait for their mandate.
Yep.
We
In
gotta
the
go see some
meantime-
sights.
Vax. Yes. Gilmore, who has kind of swept you out into the middle of Abadar's promenade, takes you by the arm and begins to lead you happily up towards the erudite quarter of Iman, which has a secondary wall around it as well. As he brings you along, he talks happily and loudly about how it's rather wonderful, the way that we were presented with this opportunity over in Western. It's magnificent, the team they've assembled to build this brand. I'm very excited at how they brought it to my attention. I've wanted to keep things very localized, of course, but it seems.
And you trust the folk in Amon to handle your business, or will you go between?
The folk in Western.
Yes.
Well, I have a couple of friends there that will oversee the process, but I will be very, very involved in keeping an eye, so I'm not too terribly worried. Besides, it's a much smaller business we're running then. It'll be fine. Look ahead, and as you guys step into the erudite quarter, he's now brought you into essentially what is an outdoor botanical garden that is just a very nice walk. Grass across the ground with fine, well-kept bushes. There's a canopy of beautiful trees that are kind of arcane, through arcane means, twisted and sculpted to form this kind of long tunnel. It's strangely romantic. As Gilmore begins to walk you down, there's like a fountain to the side, and he's, what about you? How's Vox Machina been? How have they been treating you? How are you, Vax?
Well, we're tired, to be sure. I was not kidding before. We really are lucky to be alive. And that's thanks in large part to a lot of the gear you outfitted us with the last time.
Wondrous. Well, I'm happy to help. And have you been keeping up your end of the bargain? Have you been singing the praises of Gilmore's glorious goods across Craghammer and beyond?
You were mentioned in Craghammer. I regret to inform you, though, that we were forced to travel underground rather quickly, and the Duragar and the other things that we ran into are not really customers you want to deal with. So, no, our lives were too much in harm's way. But now that we're above ground, I'm looking to pick up where I left off.
Very well.
Do your shop honor. Your contribution to what we've done, and I place my hand on his hand, was no small part in our survival. And I give it just a little squeeze. And I want to thank you. Sincerely. I don't know that I would be standing here without your help.
Do it not fit Gilmore's glory.
And he looks you deep in the eyes, kind of pats the top of your hand, and goes, that moment, that is why I do what I do.
You're a unique man, Gilmore. No question. Never met anyone quite like you.
Well, would you care to share a glass of wine with a man not quite like anyone else you've met?
Indeed.
Let
What
us-
do you recommend in the area?
Oh, please come. I hear there are casks that pour the finest of honeyed Singoran wine. I know perhaps you've not been home for quite some time.
That's a complicated thing for me. One that I'm not really quite ready to talk about yet.
Oh,
Maybe someday.
maybe with enough wine.
So and so.
About an hour and a half time passes before eventually there is a loud clattering at the front of Gilmore's Glorious Goods, where a laughing Vax and Gilmore come stumbling in, flush of face, with emptied goblets, laughing to themselves. Is there anything specific before this moment that you wanted to get
I
across?
took the Duragar. I was holding her right over the cliff, and I just cut, and she fell. She fell. I didn't know what I was doing. I just did it.
You are ridiculous, Vax. Oh, it tickles me. It tickles me all over. Oh, good to see you, friends.
You sound like you've had fun.
Family. I've had a couple of drinks. I'm an adult. I can do that. What have you found? Have you guys been shopping?
It was delightful. It was delightful. You travel with the finest companion. We told stories. We cried. We laughed. It was a delight. I've had a few. And he kind of writes himself for a minute and.
I pat him on the back and do a little circle with my hand. Pat again.
Remember,
Not
you have
as
advantage.
spry and youthful as I once was. Unfortunately. But yes, business to attend. What do you need? What can we do? And as well, I've got a bit more business to do here. Vax, I greatly appreciate spending the afternoon with you. Where are you staying?
I take him by the hand, do one of these clasps, and say, "Well, we live here now. We're residents. I haven't had time to tell you. We have a keep, our own keep. You should come visit. It's on the outskirts of town. It's called Grey Skull Keep, and you're welcome anytime, day or night."
Good to know. All right, to business I go. I bid you all a fine farewell.
I do.
Bye, Gilmore.
He goes back through his his beaded exit to the back room, and
Gilmore's and Western currently setting up the expansion of the Gilmore's Glorious Goods business. If this is important, I can certainly summon him here.
Well, I hate to pull him away from business. I don't want to get in the way of his business. I mean, I am rather sad not to see him, but no, I don't think that would be the course of action we'd want to take. Let him continue to set up.
Right, I suppose.
Can you get a message to him, though?
Yes, I can, actually.
Well, tell him Vaxeldan and friends visited. We're in the city for a
she
week.
pulls out a small sheet of what looks like kind of a rough around the edges piece of parchment and starts inkwell scribbling down.
Vaxeldan. That's with an A, not an E.
Right.
We're here for a week. I don't know if he's going to be back from Western before then, but if he is, tell him to get word to me. I'm very interested in exchanging news for the past few weeks.
All right. Sirat Kora. It like flashes and disappears in front of her.
Well then, he will be receiving the message right about now.
Oh.
We'll pass that on, and whenever he returns, I'm certain he will get back to you and deal with whatever business is necessary.
Thank you. We're here late in the day. Are you still open for business?
We are open, yes.
I was just curious if you guys had a chance to think about the alchemy workshop that we talked about before, or if you were maybe had any alchemy books that came in that I was sort of requesting.
It's possible. We haven't completely restocked the shelves as of late. I know we had some new things come in. I can go check. And as she turns, all of a sudden there's a large, vibrant, white flash of light and a sound from the back room. The beaded curtains kind of shift for a second. And you hear heavy footsteps. And pushing through the beaded curtain, you see before you, with the beaded sweat on his head, Gilmore.
I'm so glad you came back.
Gilmore!
Gilmore!
I'm sorry, I was out and about running some business.
You didn't
ways
have
away.
to go to all that trouble to come back here.
How could I miss seeing my fight? There's not as many of you as usual.
No, we're seeing to different bits of business. I turn back to him, I walk forward with hands out. I walk up to him, take him by the head, give him a good European style kiss, just about here, right there. Come back and say, there is so much to talk about.
Oh, yes, there is.
Where can we be alone?
He looks over at the rest of the group. Well, I mean. But of course.
See to whatever business.
We'll
We'll
just peruse. Yes.
Yes.
We'll window shop.
Yes.
I'm going to sketch this.
He walks back through the beaded curtain, kind of giving this look over his shoulder. As he does, as the curtain kind of falls behind him.
Those beads.
Oh, jeez.
I just
Whoa.
walk right in and follow him in.
All right.
Have a smell.
As you go in there, you can see there is, and you can see now as the glow gently fades. There is a rug that's kind of pushed to the side, and on the floor of his room there is a familiar sigil, kind of similar to the one that you've seen Tiberius scrawl before in some of his spells. That's apparently how he got here so quickly. But he walks in and he kind of kicks the rug back over it, sits down on the edge of his bed, puts his hands kind of on it, up, and Lars his chin on his face. Goes, "So what seems to be troubling you?"
So I walk over and I sit down opposite him and say, before we talk about anything, I feel like I should apologize because although we didn't have any sort of written agreement, you and I are friends, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I was supposed to help bring your brand wherever we went. And I thought that would be possible. I've basically come back. We came back from the Underdark. We had a very hard time. Some of the hardest weeks of my life. So I haven't delivered on my promise. And I mean to, but I haven't yet. So I apologize wholeheartedly. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I understand. People grow busy. There are things you must tend to. That's all right. And I appreciate you being so honest. I really do.
In addition to that, I am changed, and promises mean more to me, even more than they did before, and I promise to follow through. In the interest of time for the game, DM, Vax tells the whole story of the Underdark, of the Horn, of how close it was.
What is taking him so long, Scanlan?
After 10 minutes of finishing all that, of telling him every tiny detail,
All right.
if you mind me backtracking, I briefly place my hand on top of his and say, it was terrible. I've never seen anything like it. Now we're back.
So it's just the
And
name
we're
like
in
says.
our home, and I'm hoping to learn how Uriel is doing, how the city is faring. Is there any news? Things are ill in Craghammer. They still haven't seen the last of their troubles, but I'm also concerned for our new home here.
As far as I'm aware, the city's been doing rather well. I mean, since Winter's Crest, just this previous year, the trade has been booming. We're opening up pathways all across the continent. We've improved relations with many other distant kingdoms, and I'm opening a second shop. I mean, that's amazing. I never would've
Western,
thought.
how's it going?
Yeah, so far so good. We're going through the construction process, and I'm making sure that I have a rather supple income of artifacts and oddities that I have to sell at both locations. So I have to widen my input of various items. And,
You're a busy man.
oh, yes.
Have you any time for leisure?
Eventually.
And then, like, you can see he's a little more worn than you've seen Gilmore before. He's still Gilmore and he's excited, but after the tale you told him, and you can see like the opening of the second shop has been a little rough on him, and his jovial self is a little more wearied. Though he still looks fabulous.
Right. You seem a tad weary. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Just praise the brand. Praise the brand, young Vax.
That will happen. I did not even mean to discuss this coming here, but I would be interested, Gilmore. I really just need a quick favor, and I mean to pay back quickly. I was hoping I need a dagger for something. Not your best dagger, not your shittiest dagger either. I just need something nice. How much would a fine dagger cost? Something that would be good in a fight. And could I pay you back in a couple of days, once Tiberius returns from Krakauer?
If you want something functional, there are masterwork daggers out there. We do have base-level enchantments that give you a fine, honed edge and a balance that cannot be beaten for its price rate. For that, I can easily give you one of our base unenchanted items for no more, friend discount included.
Yes.
400 gold pieces.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's a really good deal.
That sounds like a good
Can
deal.
I please purchase 3 of those?
You may.
Done.
All right, I'll give these right now. He stands up, and now there's some sort of business involved. He's completely renovated and recharged. He comes through the beaded curtain again. You guys see Gilmore burst out, like, ha, we're in business. And he goes into the next room and back up the stairs and takes a few moments and comes back down with an armful of these daggers and kind of like sets them down on the counter. 3 for you. That'll be 1,200 gold pieces, please.
I reach out and I give his cheek a little booby squeeze and then clap him on the cheek.
Cool.
And say, I'm good on my word, and you're a good friend. Thank you, Gilmore.
Least I could do. Pay me back. I'll find you.
I know you're good on your word.
Indeed.
As you're glancing out and you're talking to the front of the bar, and the rest of you guys are, finishing your round of drinks, you are looking around.
I just remembered 5,000 gold was being delivered to the keep.
Servants.
Don't worry, we have servants.
We have people for that.
Servants. It's fine.
Drink more.
It's fine.
So you glance towards the door, and an individual walks in that definitely kind of matches the expectation of what you're looking for. A familiar individual, a gentleman of purple gold-trimmed robes, a darkish complexion, a tied goatee,
Oh,
and a smile on his face. And it suddenly makes complete sense. This is the kind of place that Gilmore would go to drink. As he comes strolling in, he just kind of has a smile on his face. You can see a little bit of sweat on his brow. And like I said, kind of a long day. We're just kind of in a rush here. It looks over and immediately sees the whole of you there.
Well, isn't this the luckiest day for me?
Look at this motherfucker right here!
Vaxel down. He runs up and grabs you. Mwah.
Oh, I lift him. I lift him in the air and I twirl around and I plant him down on a bar stool and I give him a playful slap on the cheek. Not that hard, but like,
Yeah.
how are you? It's so good to see you. God, you look good.
You as well, my friend. You as well.
Gilmore, what are you drinking? We're buying. What are you drinking?
Oh, obviously, whatever she's having.
Do you have any food? They don't have any.
They don't have any. Oh, they would not serve food here. No, it's a finer establishment.
Scanlan, you're staying?
I'm not going near that shit.
All right. Max is staying, and Pike, you're staying?
Yeah.
All right. As this is happening, Gilmore kind of sits up and begins to finish off his drink.
That's okay. It's good to see friends. That's okay. Indeed. Well,
Oh, just don't get your lesson on me. Get it in the street.
it's getting very late, and I've only been back a few days, and I have a lot of business to tend to in the morning.
I'm sure you do. Could I borrow your ear for a few minutes?
Certainly. It would be my absolute pleasure.
You want some privacy?
In private.
Far be me to stand in the way of a private conversation.
And he stands up for a second and kind of walks over to the far table in the corner, right by the stage where the harpist was playing, but is no longer on the stage. And he just kind of sits down, expectantly awaiting.
As you sit down with Gilmore. Yes, Vaxilon, darling.
I think we have known each other a long time. Long
Yeah?
time, yeah? And I have a lot of love for you. You are an amazing man.
Well, not disagreeing with you there.
That is part of your charm. I don't even know what I'm saying to say. I just feel I need to be honest with you. There's no question you and I have danced around each other a bit for the past few years. And I have been curious.
Well, curiosity is the spark of arcane pursuits and knowledge. Among many other things.
I've come close many times to going further than I have. You were a charming man, Gilmore. But I respect you very much. And I need to tell you that I can't do the dance anymore. I am in love with someone I don't think loves me, but all the same, it wouldn't be fair to you to think that we might dally. And I don't want to be a liar, so I won't be.
Well, I certainly appreciate your honesty. And, well, I would be lying if I didn't say I was a little disappointed. But at the same time, the heart wants what the heart wants. And, well, I've enjoyed our flirtation. Perhaps our paths aren't meant to be quite so entwined. Such is the flow of fate, my friend. And he gives that little kind of sigh of digesting heartbreak a little bit. But, you know, there's like a nod to him of understanding and acceptance, and he kind of looks up to you again with that kind of whip crack of a Gilmore smile and says, "I wish you luck. The path of a uncertain heart is never an easy one. And should you ever need an ear to bend or a shoulder to cry on, well, you know where I am. And if I'm not there, you know how to get a hold of me."
Now reach out, hand behind his head, say you are a beautiful arcane bastard. And I kiss him full on the lips.
Vax getting all the kisses.
Tap him on the shoulder. Thank you.
Now you're just being a tease. He takes his cup, which is empty, and kind of like holds it up to the last drop, kind of puddles out. Good night to you, Vax.
Night, Gil.
Walks out into the night. As Gilmore walks by you guys, he looks over at Keyleth and goes, "Get her some water." You begin to approach with a very, very nervous heart the corner of the bazaar that leads to Gilmore's place. As you approach, the nervousness is met with the visual of a large stack of black smoke that rises from that direction. As you push through with increased haste towards that area of the bazaar, you see Gilmore's Glorious Goods, as well as two other adjacent buildings, completely destroyed. Piles of rubble, and what you can see, what looks to be a group of about 10 individuals that are currently picking through the rubble and gathering what they can, moving over wood and brick.
I stop stealthing and I walk right into it and start shouting, "Get the fuck out of here! Get out!"
As you do that, all of them kind of turn over and look, and one says, "Hey, get your own shit, all right?"
Move on now, now, now.
He kind of stops and looks about the other ones. The other guys all look at each other. And, look, we're all just trying to stay alive here, okay?
I pull out my gun. You heard the man.
Yeah, big sword comes out too.
Fire hands. Don't test us. We've had a really shitty day.
You've had a shitty day.
We've all had a shitty day.
Well, let's make it all sorts more shitty. And he pulls a short sword from his side, and all the rest of them pull their blades out, and they say, look, we saw this first. We're gonna bring it to him and save ourselves.
Fucking gut you like a fish
Stop.
and take your innards
Stop.
out your mouth. I will not!
Stop. You will take it to him?
I don't believe my husband made it. But we're alive.
Did you see him fall?
No. And she kind of looks over into the far corner. You can see what looked like, amongst the pile of rags and stuff, there was one long pile of kind of dark crushed velvet blue in the corner with a small puddle of crimson under it. It says, he saved us. And glancing over in the corner, you can now see the shape of what looks to be Gilmore, slumped in the corner, arm draped over his midsection, head down to the side in the center of that pool.
I run right over. I run over. Is he awake? Is he alive? I've got my hand under his chin. Is he alive?
You reach over and touch Gilmore's face, and it is cold with sweat, and but it's feverish sweat. There is a very, very strong fever in its body, and there's just beads of sweat down the face. And as you look down, you can see where the arm is holding, there is just blood soaked into the robe. You can see parts of the robe right now are currently, elements of it are burned and charred. You can see what look parts scraped away, and Gilmore is looking pretty rough.
Pike, Keyleth, come over here.
Okay.
Mike, what are you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna cure wounds.
Is this gonna be all right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Gil? Is there any consciousness?
I can try and assist you, Pike, with your wounds. That's all I have
That's
right
all
now.
I can do too. I can help
Okay.
and assist, but
How is he conscious?
No, unconscious and
He's unconscious?
unconscious and looking.
Fading fast.
can you greater us? I mean, what's the
Pike.
best cure you can do, Pike?
Hurry, Pike.
Okay.
You guys can both make medicine checks to try and put him in a
Stabilize him?
Well,
Yeah.
to try and put him in a position where he would be more susceptible.
I
to heal.
can
22.
I can use the 6th level and just heal.
Just use the spell heal.
Yeah.
And I did a 16 on my medicine check to her 20 with her
Okay.
22.
22.
So-
22. Yeah.
So you guys take a moment. You kind of go and you dress the wounds best you can, and put him in a position where Pike, as you bring forward, you grab your holy symbol, and clutching it between both your hands very tightly, you kneel down in front of the slowly fading body of Gilmore. You can see the shiver occasionally, instinctually in his unconsciousness, and you reach out and touch him. And as you do, the warm light of Saren Ray fills your torso, travels through your arms and into the body of Gilmore. His arms fall to his side limp as the warmth kind of swells up into the torso. And for the second, as the outside of the robe that you saw torn opens up, you can see now the hideous gash that is currently torn through his abdomen. As the warmth kind of spreads through the body and the light visually shows the horrible jagged nature of this wound, the wound stitches itself up, and you can see it close, leaving but the tiniest of scar across. The blood itself still, all still caked into the material, but the wound is now closed. As you pull your hands back, you can see Gilmore's body, which is from the sheer power of the heal spell, has kind of actually been elevated a few inches off the ground, and then clatters to the ground as the spell finishes. And you can see shivers for a second and kind of curls over.
I just pull him into my lap. No, no, no.
At this point, Sherry instinctively goes, "Is he all right? Is he all right?" She kind of pulls out her glasses, puts them on.
I think so.
Who's this one? She turns back around towards Gilmore as you're holding him there. The children, at this point, are very quiet and kind of sitting at his foot as you all gather around this corner. A minute passes in silence. Another minute passes.
Smoothing his hair out. Hey.
His body's, the stillness is maintained, but you can still feel the heartbeat, and you can feel the pulse of blood through the body just from holding the shoulders, and then from that silence here. And the mouth opens, and the eyes begin to lull open, and the irises begin to try and find some point of focus, and Gilmore slowly lolls the head back up and looks into your face and smiles instinctually. A little bit of blood at the corner of his mouth, and just looks up at you. Ah, it's always what I assumed I'd see in my last moments.
Bad day, huh?
Strangely enough, I'm pretty sure I've had worse.
No offense, darling, but you look like shit.
We can't have that, can we? He lifts his hand and kind of begins to try and cast a spell. You can see a bit of arcane prestidigitation begin to try and muster, and he kind of
Gilmore.
coughs, and the magic sputters and fades.
Give it time.
Need to rest.
So, either we're all dead or we're all alive. I'd like an answer.
Alive.
Good. I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah.
I was so worried about you all. I went back for you.
What? We were so worried about you.
I'm glad you came here.
I'm sorry, when they attacked, my instinct was to grab the children. I got who I could, but Uriel pushed me away. He was trying to get others out of the fray. Two familiar voices. You hear the echo of some older, gruff, elderly gentleman, and a little more rambunctious, familiar voice. As they turn the corner, you see them in deep in conversation as the realm seer himself, hunched forward with his white, hair and balding top, turns around.
And it's a great mystery to me that they can be. Oh, look! They've returned, Vox Machina themselves.
Gilmore, at this point, opens his arms, standing and healthy.
Hey,
My God, I've been waiting for you to return. All of you look so graciously clean.
You look so healthy, Gilmore.
Look
I've you to
at
thank
you.
for that. Still a ways to go, but
But in 2 or 3 weeks, it's not bad. You're looking well.
oh, you can have Kima to thank for that. She's been quite attentive to my needs.
How is Whitestone finding you?
Curious place is Whitestone. It's the company's interesting.
Sure.
Realm Seer laughs. He's like,
So I've heard.
we've spent a little bit of time looking at this strange oddity beneath the city, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's really confusing. I have a few theories on it, as does the Arcanist, but we're still comparing notes, and we don't want to jump to any conclusions, as tests have been inconclusive and rather dangerous so far. However, before anything else goes underway, I believe there is a very important bit of business that we must attend to.
Business? What business, Gilmore?
And he walks straight up to Grog and just gives you a big hug.
Oh.
Pats you on the shoulder and is like, you big lug.
You, Gilbo.
Walks over to you, Puck, and kind of kneels down and kind of gives you a little pinch on the cheek and is like, looking as spry and smiley as ever, I see.
Hello, Sean. I give him a kiss on the cheek.
Oh. Turns to you. Thexalia, look at you. I hear, if my words say correct, that you folks are a recent dragon slaying bunch.
That we are.
Good to know. Skips over you.
Whoa.
That's the last.
goes to Scanlan and goes to ruffle your hair. It's like, and you, my little bardish friend.
Little.
Oh, you're actually physically little.
I know,
You are a tinier person. Embrace it. What makes you different?
That's true. I suppose. Yes, that's absolutely. We've been spreading the good word about you and your works.
So I've heard from all sorts of interesting folk.
Yeah.
I only hope one day to wear clothes as fine as you.
Oh, that's a nice compliment.
Percival,
Patron,
thank you for taking me into your home.
you do nothing but brighten these halls.
I'm happy to keep things lit. At which point he goes to look towards you, and the Realm Seer is sitting there kind of tapping his arm. He's like, all right, get on with it. We've got work to be done. And he's like, shh, you be quiet. These people have saved my life. Keyleth, sweet Ashari princess.
Hi, Gilmore.
You've grown. I can see it in your eyes. Gives you a big hug.
I give him a hug back.
Max. Axelan. Light of my eye. Smiling boy. And he walks up and puts his hands across your shoulders and kind of cups your face. I've missed you most of all. And pulls you in for a big hug and lifts you up off the ground.
Oh,
You're strong enough to be careful of your wounds.
Which he sits you down. He's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Pat him on
My
the ribs.
apologies.
That's
Don't touch that. It's still very tender.
It's fantastic to see. You're a sight for sore eyes yourself. We're very happy to see you.
My sight is sore, so this works out well. But please, these tunnels are dank and not becoming of us. Dinner should be having soon, and you should join us now that you've returned, please.
On the way out, as we're all walking out, I walk along Gilmore and I give him just like a gentle shoulder to shoulder. Say, it's really good to see you on your feet. It's best smile I've had in ages.
You and me both. Partway into the evening's resting, like we'll say the wee hours of the morning, post midnight or so, your door opens slightly, Vax. And you hear a little on your door.
Yes?
You look over and you see Gilmore pop his head in with a soft smile. I'm sorry if I'm waking you up.
It's all right.
Here, and he takes produces what's like a folded pile of material and throws it at the foot of your bed and goes, come back, I made you a gift. Put it on, come walk with me a while. We have a lot to talk about.
I open it up.
It's a very well-crafted silk robe of like dark blue and black, beaded, nice against the skin. It's a really, really nice.
Give me a minute. There's a wooden screen in the room. I go behind it and I wipe any oil stuff on my
That's fantastic.
Looks all right. All right, and I put it on.
All right. He just waits for you patiently in the hallway.
Sure.
So he just kind of begins walking along, kind of puts his arm out to you.
Hey.
Take his arm. You guys walk up along the hallway, leads you to a staircase that leads up further, and he goes, I know a lot has happened these recent months. I've been watching from afar, keeping tabs on your journey best that I can. But I still know so little. And you ascend the lengthy staircase, and you make your way to the higher floor. You eventually open an intricate door and walk out onto a wide balcony in that tower that overlooks the grounds and the castle before you. Beautiful moonlight, the night air. You see the moon is nearly full, and the white light illuminates the densely forested countryside surrounding the castle. He kind of closes the door and walks up to you at the edge of the balcony, looking over it all, kind of elbows on the edge. Some time has passed, Vax, and much of the world moves on to newer, greater threats. But true pain never really heals.
turns to you. Steps up to you, looking you close in the face. You hurt me deeply. It continued to hurt. Agony. For weeks. Months. Pain I had never experienced. It's all I can think about.
Can I make an insight check?
You would if you had time.
Oh my god!
I knew it.
No!
The pain hits you suddenly, before anything else does, as you're lost in that face and this sudden feeling and sensation of terror and horror. You suffer 18 points of piercing damage. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, that's my specialty. Constitution save?
Mm-hmm.
11.
You feel the poison.
I'll use luck.
Roll again.
18.
18. Okay. You feel what should be a pulse of poison hit your system, and you just manage to fight it off. As suddenly you look down, and there is Gilmore holding a blade thrust into your stomach. Your robes now beginning to fill with crimson red around the wound. It's at that moment you see him pull you in and stare into your face with a very, very low growl. It's all I think about. And you watch as a flicker to his form happens, and you see for a second there's a flash, not skin, but fur. You see teeth, you see whiskers, and the hand holding the dagger is facing the other direction. That's where we're gonna end tonight's session.
No! The rock! Is it Rakshasa?
You now see there, held aloft, what looks to be a humanoid wearing dark leathers, a cloak and a hood, being held about 4 feet in the air, tense up. Walking out of the next room, you see Gilmore in kind of disarray, a little bit of blood streaking down the forehead there, sweaty in the face with his arm out. He just goes, "What did you say?" That's what I thought. And he closes his hand, and you watch as the figure just flesh. And you can see as it slowly twists, it's like squeezing water out of a towel, just blood. And then he releases his fingers, and the figure falls limp on the ground like a crushed doll.
I drop polymorph.
Good!
It's okay. It's me, Keyleth. Sorry.
Not the night to be doing that.
I
to me.
know!
I need a drink.
Gilmore, Rakshasa, in the town, pretending to be you, trying to kill Vax.
Right now.
Yes! Also, a bunch of fucking assassins.
Grabs you by the arm.
Yeah.
And just there's a rush of air and a sparkle of purplish blue energy. As you guys are walking through the tunnel, all of a sudden, with a flash of light, you see standing before you in the tunnel, Keyleth and a very harried Gilmore.
I found Gilmore. I found him. I pull out my weapons.
Are we killing this one?
No, it's real Gilmore. Real Gilmore.
Hi. I'm glad to see you're all right. Wasn't expecting it to be my birthday as well.
Oh, I'm still here.
Vax, quick! Hey, Vax, quick! Look at the backside of the stand. This is a little awkward. Vax, ask him a question that only Gilmore would know the answer to.
Oh, shh. What did I tell you in that tavern the other night, a couple of months ago, I guess? What did I tell you?
Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
And you see now he's like breathing heavy. He's been a little winded. You can see, and his eyes are excited to see you for multiple reasons, but excited to see that you're alive. But as you ask him this question, you see his demeanor kind of darkens a little. And did you had interests elsewhere?
Yeah, that's Gilmore.
As he says this, I just do a little
cantrip fog cloud around Vax's privies. Just a little floating fog.
A little
not my
floating
hair, not
cloud
my
of
hair.
right around your waistline.
A little tutu.
Little tutu. Little smoky tutu. A little censor bar.
It's like Pigpen.
Yeah.
Anime bathhouse.
Let it go. I wanted to walk naked.
It's been a shit night. Who wants to get a drink?
Well, wait.
I, for one, could really go for some
Gilmore.
heavy alcohol.
Where's Alora? Where's Alora?
I don't know. I
Gilmore, if they were after us and they were after you, they were probably also after Alora. We need to make sure that everyone on the council is okay.
Zara. Kashaw.
All of them.
Let us go search, and then we shall drink. Nevertheless, and Gilmore kind of steps into the fog cloud, and just drapes his arms around your neck and pulls you in, like deep into his shoulder. And as he holds you really close, just kind of whispers, "I'm glad you're all right." Kind of lets go.
I picked the dialogue choice in a Telltale game where I say
I don't know.
Say nothing.
He pulls back with a smile and kind of reads you.
Gilmore, remember that.
He kind of gives a nod of understanding and takes a step back. I'm sorry.
No.
Let's go make sure that everyone else is all right. Come, follow me. He turns around and goes into a jovial jog. You guys make your way up back to the castle.
Can I walk over to Gilmore for a second? Sean, you know... Sorry. Wait. Hey, hand that over, big guy.
But of course.
Yeah, thank you.
You've certainly earned it.
You know everything about everything.
I wouldn't say I know everything about everything.
It's close.
Between the two of us, and he kind of notions towards Allura, pretty sure we know everything, but she more than I.
I can agree with that. We found this in a tomb.
What are you pointing at?
It's Peck.
Your heart
My
tube?
fucking rock hard Peck. The armor. Tap the armor, as you fucking very well knew, Laura Bailey. I kind of understand it. Can you tell anything about it?
Other than the fact that it smells really bad.
Shush, yeah, it does smell bad. Scanlan gave me some patchouli to rub on it, but it only does half the job. What can you tell me about it? It belonged to a god.
He takes a minute and kind of just walks around you, looking at the armor up and down, looking at you up and down a little bit, but mostly at the armor. His eyes flare a few times with arcane sparks. This is a powerful vestige, my friend. This has existed for quite some time, and there's certainly a bit of a dark divine energy around it. It looks like it has the capability to resist most elements when given the instruction, and it safeguards the life of the bearer, and looks like there's some sort of a... Tell you what, follow me.
Yeah.
And he stops and goes like, "It's really me this time. Follow me." All right. And he walks outside of the front of the castle to the walkway, kind of stepping over the crimson smear that once was the one assassin. And he walks up to the edge of the cliff, the sheer cliffs that are on each side of that walkway, and the elevated kind of cleaved mountain where the castle was built on. And he walks up to the very edge with you and goes, "Do you trust me?" As soon as you look down, you feel a thrust as he pushes you off the cliff. At that moment, you suddenly, instinctively, look up, and from outside the back of the armor,
What?
these giant black raven wings
Wait,
spill out
so you
from
could
the
have
sides.
flown when you came out of the dragon?
Only if I knew how to work it.
You get the sense that this feature to the armor was only recently...
Oh, shit! Shit! Get it, Archangel.
Go from falling to swooping over the forest on the outside of White
What
Star.
the fuck? He can fly!
After
He can fucking fly!
After doing that, I double back and I fly up that same cliff and I lift Gilmore up
Ah!
the sky. You fucking brilliant bastard! Thank you! Thank you! This is embarrassing. I float us back down. I float us back down.
You can see he looks a little nervous, but he's like smiling.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, it's,
Yeah.
it's all right. I would have been fine.
You are a dear, dear friend. You are a dear friend. And I give him a big diagonal hug. A long, strong hug.
He kind of freezes for a moment, kind of, still figuring out his boundaries with the dynamic being what it is, but eventually he gives in and you feel his arms take you in as well, and you guys have this long, honest, connecting hug. And as this happens, the wings also kind of wrap around and envelop the both of you.
Good
moment. Ridiculous.
Good moment. He's alive. Let it go.
And then time just seems to pass for a minute, and as you release him, the wings kind of scatter into black feathers in the wind and disappear. He steps away from you, and you can see there's just a little streak of damp inside of his face, and he kind of reaches up and kind of smacks you in the cheek a little bit. Glad you're all right.
I am a great ally to you. And if you need any favors, I am your friend.
That goes both ways. Don't forget that.
I walk up and I.
Ah! Where were you? What the fuck were you? You were.
Fucking flying fuck!
Max, as you rush down towards the homestead that Gilmore had made here in Whitestone, doors closed. There's a large pile out front of what looks to be ruined furniture that's just been kind of jammed into this collection, presumably from the last encounter they had when the incursion of assassins made their way in. But the door's closed and seemingly locked. A few moments pass, no response.
That's him. That's magic. One more
But
time.
you find a gold coin. Yeah. Eventually, you hear a little bit of rustling, and you hear a voice muffled from upper floor say, "Confound it! I'll be right down."
I'm so scared of this with that hair on your head.
Yeah.
You hear some footsteps, and then eventually the door kind of. You hear the unlocking mechanism, and the door swings open a little bit, and you see morning robe, kind of chest open, curly chest hair, kind of poking out, a very groggy kind of bedhead. Gilmore, was the door? Yes, can I help? Oh, good morning.
I don't know what to do.
Why did I do this
I
tonight?
don't know why.
Hey, this is not fair. Can I come in to talk? Quickly, I have to head back to the others.
Would like some tea? It's
No, I don't even have time. I just want to talk to you.
I'd like some tea. Come on in. Come on
Alright.
in. Kind of ushers you to enter and gives you to one of the small chairs, and he kind of walks back into the kitchen while kind of shouting over his shoulder. So, Axeldon, please, tell me what's on your mind.
You know we're getting closer to the end game here.
I certainly hope so. It's taken a couple years off my lifespan.
We just killed another one of the dragons.
Really?
Yeah,
How many is that now for you? 3?
it is 3.
You're making a name for yourself. I'm proud of you. A few moments pass, and Silenton Gilmore walks back out, clutching what looks to be a small tray with a few teacups, and as he's walking, he's kind of twirling his finger, and you can see a little spiral flame kind of encircling the tea kettle as it begins to heat up as he brings it over and sets it down on the table, kind of pulls his robe in and sits down across from you on this kind of low-slung tea table and takes a bit and sips it. So, what brings you here this early in the morning, friend?
I think I might be dead in a couple of days. So, I came here to apologize. If you think I have no feelings for you, you're kidding yourself. I care for you. very deeply. I have for a long time. And I don't think I've treated you fairly. But I wasn't playing games. Sean, it's been a little weird lately, and I understand why, but I want you to know that I love you as a dear, dear friend, and I really don't think I'm going to be here in a few days, and I would hate to think that I would be...
That's far too fatalistic from the Baxadan that I know. Number one. Number two, you have nothing to apologize for. Look, everything's on fire around us all the time. We all jump at whatever a little bit of comfort finds its way before us. And at the same time, I appreciate your honesty. And I'm thankful for the connection that we do have. And yes, heartbreak comes where heartbreak goes. It's part of life. It just means that I need to find somebody who's a little more, my speed.
That guy will be fast.
You better be. Don't worry about it. Go. Kill a dragon. Another. Kill 2 more. Kill 6 more. I don't care. Just know that you're coming back. Because I need you and your friends to keep pimping out my name.
Sure. Whoever gets you will be a very lucky man.
I know. I know.
I love you.
I know. You sure don't want any tea?
I'm really nauseous right now. I almost didn't come here.
I'm glad you did. He takes your cup. Waste not, want not. Now go. Stop being uncomfortable in front of me. I need to get my morning
Yes.
situated.
Goodbye.
He just kind of stands there. Waves his hand and the door opens on its own.
I leave.
He takes you by the shoulder real fast before you even turns you around and just goes, "Till next time." Say it.
Till next time.
All right. Go. You feel a little pat on your backside on the way out. He's just gonna sit there holding his tea, watching you leave, and door slams behind you. Make your way back.
I'm sorry I made you do that in that skull cap, Matt.
Look, I don't have to look at this. I'm fine.
Let's do this.
All right. As you guys enter the war room, same as it was previously left. However, you are brought with the image of around the table an early morning Allura, Gilmore, surprisingly, Drake, Thunderbrand, and Cassandra, as well as Assume, who's kind of standing behind most of them, towards leaning back to the window. They all kind of, in the middle conversation, turn and smile as you begin to walk in. You can see Gilmore kind of nods to everybody, gives an extra smile to you, Vax. As you leave, Vax crosses you in the doorway as Gilmore's in mid-conversation. Right now with, or what was with Drake, and then when he had the conversation there, he kind of watched and Drake left, and so he was kind of on his way out following Percival, and you caught him kind of passing.
Can I steal you for a second?
Certainly.
Huh. Over here.
All right.
Hi again.
Hi.
Remember how we just saw each other a couple of days ago and I tried to say goodbye, and you told me to promise you that I would see you again?
Yes, and much to my delight, you've kept your promise, and you better keep keeping it.
You know what will help with that? Boy, have I got an offer for you. You want to help us save the world? My family and I, we're going to him. And I wasn't sure the path that would take us there. I thought we might be on our own, but we're back here. And you are easily the most impressive arcane user I've ever met in my life. And I want us all to still be breathing in a week. I can't think of anyone better to stand with us than you, Sean.
His eyes kind of look off. And just for a minute, he kind of reaches up and rubs the back of his neck, and you can see there's still like a scar there. He goes, if I'm to be honest, I felt a bit useless here in Whitestone for quite some time. I was there when this all began. He destroyed not just the thing I've been working to build for so long in my life, but friends, home, for all of us. So it is my just honor and vengeful glee to join you on the siege to Amon, if you'll have me.
Grasp him by the back of the head. Gesundheit.
Sorry.
I'm so glad to have you with us, friend. So glad.
Just stay alive. Keep that promise.
Be a little bit easier now.
Good. It smacks you on the cheek.
Good time for musical quote.
After he smacks you. He smacks you on the cheek and goes,
Okay.
learn that from you.
You started it.
All right then. I guess I gotta gather my supplies and. Oh, it's been a while. Since I've seen some. I've never actually seen combat on this scale before, and wasn't just trying to run away. So let's see if I can knock off the old dust.
I'm sure it will be glorious.
Oh, I can guarantee it.
Plug.
All right.
That's right.
I'm wondering if we should eat like a hero's feast tonight and then just eat one again.
Get them out of here.
Yes.
How did you get here? Is it really you?
Do you remember anything, Sean?
Anything that can help us.
I was in my workshop and there was a flash of light and a doorway opened and it just pulled me through and.
Can I roll an insight check and see if it?
Make an insight check, yeah.
I'm taking him by the cheeks. You're in a very bad place. You're in a very bad place and time, and you need to get out of here. You need to take these women and go down these stairs and hide.
21.
21. I mean, it's Sean Gilmore.
Fucking hell.
You are in no shape to do anything right now. You need to take these two women and hide downstairs. Do you hear?
Where are we? What's going on?
There's no time to explain.
We're in the Tower of Entropis. We're on the back of a Titan, just trying to get them as far away from here as possible.
Just
Vasselheim is
down.
an hour away.
So you can fight with us.
No. His head is not where it needs to be.
Wait. So, if we're near Vasselheim.
Yes.
What's in Tropis?
No. We're in Thorumfalla. It's been teleported to the back of a Titan, which is a giant mountain, which is what we're on. From the Shadowfell. You just have to get away.
We're
Get
50
away.
feet below Vecna. He's right above us.
Go
Then
away.
what are you going to do?
We're gonna fight him.
And you're gonna go away.
In 30 minutes, we could all be dead, but if we have any chance, you three need to not be here. You need to go down now.
Oh, I can get the three of us away. I can teleport us. It's maximum of what I can do.
Jamansa Ord is here. The Slayer's take has probably been vastly compromised. Just
Go
get
to
out
the
of here
woods.
and get to the woods. Scanlan's right.
I could probably take us back to Amon. Like, why even stay
Then
near
go.
this place?
Go.
I'll do that. You're going to fight this Vecna.
We are. I hate to even ask, but is there anything you can do still?
If you make it quick.
Yeah, we have to ask. I'd almost rather him stay and fight.
I know. I want him to stay and fight.
No. He's got to get them away.
Yeah, but if you can.
They're at 1 hit point each.
Yeah, but to be fair, they're going to be dead in an hour anyway.
If you can
we
make
don't
this
deal with
quick, I can leave you with some intense adrenaline, my friend.
Me?
Yes.
I'm a fan of adrenaline.
He looks around at the blood on the floor and the two barely living women to the side and says, if the one you're going to fight is the one that did this to me and them, leave a scar in my name if you don't mind. And when it's done, maybe carve a unicorn.
With pleasure.
Then hurry. At which point you begin to hear heavy footsteps coming up the stairs behind you. Heavy footfalls. And a number of other footsteps heading up the tower behind you. He goes and grabs the bodies close, glances around you, up the stairway. You see emerging behind you the Death Knight that joined you in the fight against Vecna.
Get upstairs. I'll hold him off.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Gilmore
Come on.
grabs both of the girls.
Bless Sean. It was an honor knowing you.
It'll be an honor knowing you all still. At which point he grabs both of the girls and with a flash of light, the three of them vanish. The Death Knight at which point has turned to reach out and goes to cast something as Archon rushes up and just slams the axe across his arm, knocking it aside. Where that crater is, you can see there's a number of families that are out of a home, but a lot of them have been gathered around, and you can see there are bastions bringing food, and among them you see the familiar purple and gold robes, beautiful dark skin, goatee, and ever-present rosy smile of Sean Gilmore, as he's currently down there doing a series of tricks with prestidigitation to impress and bring joy to what looks to be about 6 or 7 children on the side of the road. You watch as these sparkles extend from his fingertips, and he begins to kind of weave them around, and then suddenly as he releases, they explode into what looks to be a dozen glowing orange birds that flutter away and then disappear into small fireworks. And the kids scream loudly and then cheer and clap. And they rush up and kind of, 2 of them hug his leg, and he's like, oh, it's nothing, really, it's a cantrip. Oh my goodness, if these aren't faces that I've been wanting to see, come here. And he runs up and puts his arms around, he puts one arm around Keyleth and kind of just to Percy, and he puts one around Vex and kind of leads up for Pike and goes, oh, it's so good to see most of you. Is Grog back in the necklace at this time?
Yes, he is.
Where's Grog?
Soulless.
I didn't hear you say that.
Grog. No,
Yes.
really, he's soulless. He's in the necklace right now. He's unconscious. And,
Well, I guess that's par for the course, wouldn't it be? And where's the pretty one?
That's.
I'm right here. Hi.
We're having to make a dash to Pandemonium soon. We were wondering if you had any advice and/or ideas of ways to keep safe in that realm.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the most school-learned practitioner of the arcane arts. It's more of a gift. But from what I've heard in passing, it's a very, very nasty place.
We will fill you in on all of the insanity when we return, but we are taking Grog there to reconstitute himself a bit. He was toying with a deck of many things.
You notice as he's like
listening to this conversation, there's a dual aspect of his current attention. He's listening, but he's also watching all of your faces. And
Sean,
you watch his expression kind of slowly drop.
we need to talk to you.
I believe I already have an idea.
I mean, you knew it was coming, right?
I did. It doesn't make it any easier, but who am I to say that to you?
We tried.
I reach out and I grab Vex's hand.
We all tried so hard,
And I grab Scanlan's hand.
but we couldn't.
He steps forward and just puts his arms around you and holds you. And whispers into your ear, I'm so very sorry. The two of you shine so bright. But that light hasn't gone away either. He kind of steps away for a moment, and you can see the tears down his face as well. But I'm proud. My God, look what you've done. When I met you, you were a bunch of bumblefucks. I mean, seriously. I was raising prices because you were so brash and obnoxious, but...
I knew you were.
Oh, I couldn't haggle past you, Vex. Anyway, thank you for letting me know. Now's not my time to grieve. And he kind of points to all the families out there in the road and says, they've lost far more. I'll tend to them. Maybe once you complete this venture, we can all have some nice tea and some pastries, and we can reminisce and talk story.
I look forward to it.
Me too.
To pandemonium, I suppose.
Yes. Sean. He loved you. And so do we.
I know. Anyway, you cast prestidigitation and you watch as the tear marks just dissipate. His eyeshadow gets noticeably more vibrant and fantastic.
That is
He goes,
a good
"Ah."
cantrip.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Well, I have an audience to perform for. You take care of yourselves. Remember, we made plans. My place, Iman, you know where to find it. He walks over to you and says, you take care.
Yes, darling.
Children, come. Let me show you why they call me glorious.